Hello again. Some viewers would have been a little puzzled to hear Mark Rowley, Commissioner of Police for the Metropolis, tell us solemnly that it would have been illegal to arrest those hooligans who were clambering over the Royal Artillery Memorial at Hyde Park Corner on Wednesday. That's the monument which commemorates our war dead, of course. Mark Rowley said of these actions by young Muslims, "What the officer didn't do last night is make up a law that it's illegal to do so, and do an arrest, which would have been illegal." That is a deliberate and calculated falsehood, as I'm sure we all know. Let's just remind ourselves what happens when people who are not Muslims climb on statues, buildings and memorials in London. In April 2016, newspapers reported about the actions of protesters from Greenpeace, who climbed various statues and monuments in London, including Nelson's Column. One headline read, "8 activists have been arrested this morning after the charity climbed a number of historic monuments." After climbing statues of Oliver Cromwell and the Wellington Monument at Hyde Park Corner, all the protesters were arrested. I give a link in the description to this video to a news item about this. You will observe that the Wellington Monument, like that of the Royal Artillery, is at Hyde Park Corner. Climbing on one of those monuments will result in arrest. But it would, it seems, be illegal, according to the head of the Metropolitan Police, to arrest somebody for climbing on the other monument. Anybody notice anything fishy about this? Two monuments near to each other at Hyde Park Corner, and yet climbing one means you'll be arrested, but climbing the other is fine, and the police can't touch you for doing so. Seriously? In September last year, 3 people climbed the Shard skyscraper in London. They were arrested on suspicion of causing a public nuisance. I give a link to this too. Climb the statue of Eros at Piccadilly Circus, and the police will arrest you. This happens at least once a year. Climb a war memorial, and it is actually illegal for the police to arrest those doing so. Let us suppose that one Saturday afternoon a bunch of football supporters began clambering over the war memorial in Hyde Park. Are we seriously expected to believe that the police would not arrest them? Or here's another really interesting thought experiment. I posted a clip of film a while ago of me on here climbing the wall of a Welsh castle. Suppose that I went down to Hyde Park on Sunday and started climbing up the monuments there in front of the police. Does anybody think for a moment I would be able to do so with impunity? Of course not. The idea is absurd. The only difference between those cases to which I have given links and also the ideas about my climbing those monuments or a group of football fans doing so lies in ethnicity and religion. This is a truly shocking state of affairs. What it amounts to is this. When white non-Muslim protesters from Greenpeace climbed a monument at Hyde Park Corner, they were at once arrested. When young Asian Muslims did precisely the same thing at Hyde Park Corner 2 days ago, the police cannot apparently arrest them. It would be illegal to arrest them, in fact, according to the Commissioner of Police. There is something very wrong about this. Whether those young men were allowed to carry on in that way because they were Muslims or because they were of South Asian heritage, I don't know. But those were the only differences between them and the people from Greenpeace. Is there really a different set of laws applying to Muslims? If so, could this be explained to us openly and honestly? And on that same subject, an episode of mass truancy took place yesterday in the London borough of Tower Hamlets, and another is planned to take place today at 11 o'clock. Those school pupils will all be Muslim as well. Is that another of the things which Muslims are allowed but are forbidden to the rest of us? I asked because I was wondering what would happen if all the school children in a non-Muslim district were encouraged to play truant and walk out of their schools in this way. Would the police be called upon to help by taking them back to school? I know that the police take part in regular truancy patrols in London with officers from local authorities, and they do exactly this. If they find school children who should be in class and they find them hanging around the streets or in shopping centres, say, they take them back to school. They return them to the schools that they're truanting from. Is this another of those things, like climbing onto monuments, that Muslims are permitted to do by the police? I wonder if the police would explain all this to us at some point, or whether or not they're going, when those Muslim pupils walk out of school and play truant today, whether the police would take them back to school. I'm not criticising Muslims, you understand, but rather asking why the Metropolitan Police have adopted a set of double standards in this way, which seem, to my eye, to be allowing more licence to the members of one particular faith than to anybody else.